we have another game going on Friday in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is St. John's against San Diego State. San Diego State a 3-point favorite. The total went down from 121 to 120 in the South region here. This St. John's team, well, they're winning. They're 21 wins on the season, but they're not covering games. 6-13 against the spread. And the last two games, let's call them for what they were, ugly. They lost to Villanova 105 to 68. Then Providence was a pick'em game, and they lost 74 to 57. That game went under the total of 143. And they got some bad news with their 6'10 junior center, Chris Obekpa. He's not going to play because of a failed drug test. So, Jeff, really not a lot of good news for St. John's these days.
Yeah, the only good news is that they're playing a team that has one of the worst offensive teams in the country, as usual. But Steve Lavin also is, going back to his days at UCLA, his teams are very inconsistent. They could win by 20 one game, lose by 20 the next game. You just weren't sure what they were going to do, and that's what it's been that way with St. John's too. Those last two games they've lost to Providence, Villanova by an average of 27 points. You said Obekpa suspended. Red Storm still has 4 double-digit scorers, led by Delangelo Harrison at 17.5. They average 44% from the floor. 0-4 the last 4 NCAA tournament games. San Diego State, Steve Fisher has done a great job there reviving that program, and they win a lot. But when they get to the tournament and they actually have to outscore somebody instead of relying totally on their defense, that's when they lose, and it happens just about every year. He just doesn't. He's like Ben Howland of UCLA, and remember John Chaney way back with Temple. They don't care about offense. All they care about defense. But it only takes you so far because the only way to score points is to put the ball in the basket. So that's what we have here. San Diego State scored, I think, 43 points in losing to Wyoming in the Mountain West Conference tournament. And so the Mountain West Conference is not a good conference to begin with. So in this one, I think it's hard to lay points to San Diego State because of those reasons. But and St. John's is so inconsistent. They're coming out 2 bad losses. It's just tough to pick a side in this game. I'll probably lay off the game, John.
All right, well, if you're going to spell the word San Diego State, you don't need an O, and that's appropriate because this team just very bad on offense, 315th in the country in scoring, as you mentioned. Not surprising, they're on a 6-2 run under the total in that Mountain West tournament game against Wyoming. The defense was great, allowing 35%, but they still lost 45 to 43. They're on an 8-2 run playing that great defense, or 8-2 straight up, but 6-2 under the total. And they can't shoot, as you mentioned. So, Zach, I mean, can we look at San Diego State as a sleeper team with that great defense, or do they need more offense?
They need more offense. I mean, last year I actually had them going pretty far. I had them beating Arizona. It was one of the games that messed up my brackets. I forgot which round that was in, but it was a good game. They had a chance to win that game, but they lost some of those guys that were on that team, and they're just not the same. Mountain West wasn't the same this year. Strength just isn't there. But this is one of those games where you have a matchup that would side the San Diego State's side based on matchups. But like Jeff said, I probably wouldn't play this game. It's just one of those games that you don't know what you're going to get. St. John's is one of the worst defensive teams in college basketball. They have one of the things that I would never bet against in the tournament, 4 seniors starting, and D'Angelo Harrison, Phil Green, Dominic Pointer, and Rasheed Jordan. He's a sophomore, but he plays like a senior. He'll probably be going to the NBA. All those guys can score, and like he said, they're double-digit scorers. So if you put that on the court against San Diego State team that struggles to score 40 to 50 points, where are you going to side in that game? I think it's too much up in the air. But St. John's, they're going to let you score. So it's one of those games. Are they going to play like seniors, or are they going to play like their season's done and all these issues they've had down the stretch? But the issues down the stretch, you still have to take those into factor. Villanova game, they were in that game until the 9-minute mark, and just like that game against Duke, all of a sudden they ran out of gas. That team can run out of gas because they play those 4 guys 40 minutes and don't have a bench at all. But I think the score was pretty close at halftime and pretty close all the way till the 9-minute mark, and then Villanova went on this massive run. St. John scored like 2 points in the last 9 minutes. With the Providence game, they had beaten Providence twice already this season, so that was more of a revenge game where Providence needed that win. They got it. But St. John's is one of those teams when you want to count them out, they come to play. But for money's not leaving my wallet to play either team on this one.
Okay, well, I'll take a look at the total because I see San Diego State controlling the temple in this one. You got a St. John's team where their depth is squeezed with their starting center out. He has 7 rebounds per game, and he was part of a very tight 6-man rotation for the Johnnies, so that's going to mean a very limited depth, and if I'm the coaching staff, I go to a slower tempo. They're on a 5-3 run under the total anyway, and when they play non-conference games, St. John's is 7-2-1 under the total, and then San Diego State's under numbers are just extraordinary, 45-22 under the total run. They come off a spread loss to Wyoming, and when they're off of a spread loss, they're 20-6 under the total. So I'm looking at a 51-50 kind of game. I will look at St. John's and San Diego State on Friday under the total. All right, Jeff, got a best bet for everybody. Plus, how can folks get your daily plays?
Yeah, best bet on the show will be Michigan State. You call LVSS 1-866-575-8916, and you will get the basketball, NBA, and college all the way through the NCAA championship game for only $10. 1-866-575-8916. Also go to jimfeist.com every day for NBA and college basketball action. And don't forget baseball coming up in April. But call LVSS 1-866-575-8916 and you get 2 weeks for $10.
All right, Zach's college basketball run, 115 wins, 84 losses, 5 ties. Zach, you like to put in 4 and 5 packs, and with all these tournament games coming up, you're going to have some of those this weekend as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have my March Madness plays ready by Wednesday, maybe even earlier, but Wednesday's looking at the possible date tomorrow. And there's going to be some great value throughout March Madness, but I will be combining those. You've got the CBI, NIT, and CIT going on, so I will be having plays in those tournaments as well, maybe even the same amount, because sometimes these lines in these NCAA tournaments are just so sharp as compared to those. So, yeah, jimfeist.com, be on the lookout. I'll have those up on Wednesday.
All right, and Jim Feist on a 15-6-1 NBA Game of the Year run. That culminated Monday with the LA Lakers, big dog against Golden State, but they got the money. That was his Pacific Division Game of the Month, 108-105. Also, he had a conference tournament Game of the Year last Saturday. That was Wyoming underdog beating San Diego State straight up 45-43. This Friday, Jim has his second round Game of the Year. It's available now at jimfeist.com for $49. However, if you want to get it for a special $10 discount along with a bonus high roller play, you can just call the phone number on your screen. All right, our best bet on the show will be Oregon Ducks. Zach, you got a best bet at all?
Actually, I was going to say Oklahoma State, but I won't go against you on that. So I'll have my best bet as part of my package.
Okay, very good. All right, well, we'll be back next week with another edition of the college basketball version of Proline. Make sure you check out jimfeist.com for all these Vegas experts. Good luck with the games, everyone, and we'll see you.